Hey guys, how are you doing? I'm richly blessed. Pray that you are as well. All right, clearly we got a slightly different setup going on right now, and it is because I promised you guys, if you watched my video recapping 2025 and talking about plans for 2026, I promised you guys that this year I'll be sharing a lot more of my music that I produced as an artist for myself, music that I produced for other people. And so this is the start of that. I want to do, and we're going to do several of these, I want to do a production breakdown of a song that I produced for my last full-length album called Unplugged, which came out back in, I think, 2019. It was probably like right before or right around the pandemic. So I produced this song around 2018, 2019, around that time. And this is a song called Because. And this is a song that is near and dear to my heart because it was written at a very vulnerable and kind of honestly point in my life where I was frustrated with things, frustrated kind of with life and with kind of where things had gone, where things were going. And I was questioning some things. My faith was being challenged. And this song kind of came out, and it started out as kind of being not really a complaining song, but really a questioning song. But then right in the process of writing, I remember I was actually on my way back home from picking up some barbecue for my wife and I, and the whole song just kind of shifted from the questioning to a resolve. And so I want to share that song with you, or more so share the breakdown of the production of that song. And so we're going to get into that right now. Please take a moment and like this video and subscribe to this channel, and maybe think about joining as well for Control Room content, which will be starting in February. All right. But before we get into it, you guys know what day it is. Production Tuesdays. Production Tuesdays. Fast on the track like I'm running laps. Yeah. Production Tuesday. Production Tuesdays.
McCray Music.
All right, guys, this is the production session for Because. I have you in the actual production session, which is my goal for these videos, is to be able to pull up the actual production session whenever I can. Only reason I wouldn't be able to is if there was like some weird stuff where the plugins I had I no longer have or whatever, and then, you know, in that case I would just give you a session with the stems in it. But I want to be able to pull up the actual production session so that you can hear what the raw production sounded like before mixing. So and also so I could pull up these specific plugins and show you settings and things like that as we're going through. All right. So I've got everything here. I've got just the stem of the lead vocal and the 2-track of the background vocals. So let's just start from the top, and we'll just go through here, and I'll just stop and point out certain things as we go. So let's get it. This is Because. All right, so a couple things you're going to learn about me in terms of production. One, I love an intro. I think the intro is probably one of the most important parts of a song, and I think that the intro should not just be a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with the rest of the song, but it should kind of give people something to look forward to, right? So that once you know the song, you hear that intro and you're like, oh, my song is about to come on. So my favorite part, and you're like, Ed, you played for 2 seconds and you stopped. I know, I'm sorry. But one of the favorite things I have in here is this sample at the beginning. It's saying, yeah, I'm in love. And that was just so dope because that's literally what the song is about. So to be able to have found that, and this is coming from Arcade. I'll show you the exact pack in Arcade. This Love Spell. And I don't know which key it is. It's one of these. There's some good stuff in here. There it is. That wasn't it. Oh, that's what I did. Okay, so I actually used 2 notes here. I grabbed the yeah from one and the I'm in love from the other. I could have just looked at the MIDI to see that. You could clearly see that's what's happening there. So that's cool. All right. Anyway, back to the intro.
Sometimes I don't want to live this life.
A good technique to use is a drop off. So that's what we see here, coming from the intro into just a verse that's just raw, just vocal and acoustic guitar. The guitar player on here is Ronique Young, amazing guitar player. You'll probably hear him on several of the songs that I'm going to do production breakdowns for. But, you know, a good build up or having a song at a certain point and then dropping everything is a really good tool to use.
Sometimes I don't want to live this life. Sometimes I don't want to get it right. I just want to do things my way. Who says the Bible is the right way anyway?
This is the guitar was recorded in this space. This is not the mix. This is just the blend of, or the comp of the guitar recordings. I probably used an SM7B. If there was anything that maybe I would do differently, well, I'll talk about that at the end. But I probably just use an SM7B. Not an SM7B, I'm sorry, a SM57. And it sounds good.
You touched my heart in a way
Yeah.
that goes beyond words on a page. Through all that you do, the letters ring true. So I will choose to obey. 'Cause I love you.
Yeah.
Jesus, I love you more than anything, love you. Lord, I love you more than anything,
Yes, sir. That beat drop. All right. I love this song. Okay. I want to just highlight a couple of the instruments that's being used in the chorus here. This pad. One of the things you'll notice in a lot of my productions is layering. So this is actually a combination. If I just solo this is actually two pads. If we solo it. So I've got this guy. And then this guy. Right, then combine them, and then we got. Right, so try that. Try layering different things and see what you get. So this is coming from Alchemy. So this is the cloud pad built in, right? All right, and then this is also coming from Alchemy. And I just have the output movement on here, which is just adding a little bit of interesting kind of panning and stuff. You can see it kind of panning back and forth a little bit. So that's cool. So that's one thing. Also, then this is kind of like the main sample in the song. This is coming from Arcade as well. All right. And this is Warped Remnant. So I think I'm using 2 keys on this one as well. Let's see what I got. Yep. Yep. So when you're using samples and stuff like that, and I'm going to do probably a whole video on just using samples, play around with different things, right? Combine stuff. You don't have to stick with just what they give you. Chop it up, do different things. And then all these are just drum samples coming from my different drums and battery, like so. And then this, I actually don't know what this. And a nice little synth lead coming from Anna too. All right, second verse.
Take a little time and say that I love you. Yeah. Yes, I do.
Shout out to backgrounds. Here, let's solo the backgrounds. Before it was just me, and then here I brought some other vocalists.
Love you, Jesus, I love you more than anything, anything.
So that is beautiful. First of all, so that's me on tenor. That's my lovely wife Nina, which you guys will meet at some point on alto. Because when you're married to me, you get to come in the studio and do vocals for free. But in turn, I do production stuff for her for free all the time, so it's all good. And then on soprano is Courtney. I believe her last name is Wilson. I believe. Beautiful soprano, and it came out really nice. So let's keep listening. We're gonna build. We're gonna add to the production now. So one of the things you want to do in production is you want to, as the song progresses, we want to always have something interesting going on. And so we want to add stuff or take stuff away. But here now we're building towards the vamp. So we added this percussion here. We did that using this is the Logic Studio percussion. It won't let me show you the actual settings because it's the older. This was back in like 2018. I'm not going to update now because I don't know how long that's going to take. But it's the Logic Studio, and then we also added in these bells, right? Just add in little stuff from the first chorus. Right, add in little things to kind of build it, make it more interesting. There's also a Rhodes in here now that was not in the first chorus, right? Just simple stuff. This is the Logic Pro electric piano, vintage electric piano. We're using that. The main piano, we're using Keyscape for that, of course. And I am using the studio piano here. All right. Again, feel free to pause the video, you copy some of these settings down, whatever, if something is of interest to you. All right, let's keep going. All right, so again, we're building here, right? So now we're in the vamp. We got now the strings come in, right? All right, pardon that. It's still in MIDI mode, so we might get some drops in there. What am I using for strings? I'm using the good old Spitfire. I don't even remember having this at this point in life. Oh yeah, I guess I did. We're using Spitfire Studio strings. Beautiful string library. So we got strings in now. We have a full drum kit in now, which is probably the studio drummer. And we're basses in. We're building, right? We added a tambourine. Added a clap. Bring it down. All right, couple things. Okay, so as a producer, your job is the entirety of the song. It is not just playing, and you might actually not be playing anything at all in a particular song. It's setting the vision for the whole song, whether you're playing everything or you have other musicians and singers, right? So the part of the build here was not just me paying attention to the music building, but also we need the vocals to build. So what are some things we can do? We can begin to sing more aggressively, of course, but then we can also invert the vocals, which is what we have happening in here. Actually right in here. Right in, which is what we have going on here. If we solo the background vocals here. Let's back up a little bit. Then we invert.
That's why I love. That's why I love.
Then we're inverted.
Because you are so good.
All right, so stuff like that helps to build the song, add aggression to the song. And then here's the drop off, right? We're going to go to the outro. So we're going to nice drop off. Break it down. Okay, so these backgrounds here were actually the original chorus backgrounds that I did. And then I realized I wanted to have other singers on there. So this was the reference I actually sent them if we solo this.
love you. Jesus, I love you more than anything, anything. Love you.
These are my original vocals.
Lord, I love you more than anything.
Whew. So then I just asked Ronique to just go for it, man. Just solo out, take the song out. When I'm recording other musicians, I always like to have them do multiple takes. So I usually would do, one take or two takes to a couple of passes of just the regular in the pocket stuff. And then I always, especially with guitar players and bass players, but drummers too, I always have them do one final take and tell them to just go for it. Like, I want you to do way too much, like through the whole song, just shred, just licks, just go for it. And the reason I do that is because a trained studio musician is typically going to, when they're playing the song, they're going to stay in the pocket, right? Because that's what you need them to do. But when I give them license to just go for it, sometimes that's when you get extra stuff that afterwards in post-production, I can kind of move stuff around and, oh, that was a really cool lick. I can drop that in there. So that's kind of how I like to approach recording other musicians. So that really is the rest of the song. Let's just let it play out. Play, Ro. I wish I could play the guitar so bad. call back to the beginning of the song. That's another thing I like to do sometimes. Have the outro have a call back to stuff that was going on in the intro, or sometimes maybe the intro will be like another section of the song. Like if there's a key change or a chord progression in the bridge or something, might do a stripped down version of that as the intro. So then it comes back to, it's like, oh, I remember that, right? So that's because. So if there's anything that I would do differently now, because again, I produced this, 6-7 years ago at this point. And I might do a different or updated version of this on a future album. I definitely want to do a live performance of this for sure. There's not much I'll do differently listening back through it. I probably would maybe, and this is the unmixed version too. So certain things I want to hear more of, I'm not hearing, probably because this is the unmixed. I'm used to listening to the mixed and mastered version. So I probably would have a little bit more percussion in the vamp here. But that's really it. Like this is, when you've produced something and it's when it feels good, when it's just like, that's it. There's always something else you could do. There's always more we could add to something. There's always stuff. But when you're producing something, once you get to the point where it's like, yeah, like that is it. If it's touching you emotionally, that's where it needs to be. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. I heard matter of fact, Colt Caparoon, one of my favorite audio engineering YouTubers, says he tells his artists when he's producing them, he said, hey, look, I've got a button for pitch, I got a button for volume, I got all those things I have a button for. The one thing I don't have a button for is emotion. And so that is the one thing that comes from you. So even as a producer, once the song gets to the point where it's connecting to you emotionally, don't do anything that's going to take you away from that space. And sometimes it'll happen in the mix of producing, you'll get off, you'll kind of lose the plot, right? You'll start adding stuff, and you'll realize, I don't feel that connection. Start stripping it back down until you feel that connection. And that is the heart of music production and song production, in my humble opinion, is being able to tap into an emotional vein and produce something that you have an emotional connection with. And if you could do that, I think you're doing something good. Man, did you guys enjoy that? Do you like that kind of content? I hope so. I have resolved on this channel to produce content that is meaningful to me, that I connect with, and because I think that what comes from the heart will reach the heart. So I hope that you connected with that. I hope you took some tips away of some things to do on your production. The full song and the full album actually are linked in the description. So if you want to check out the fully mixed and mastered version of that song, and check out the whole album, feel free to do that. All right. I'm going to see you guys again soon in another video. Peace.